Hello and welcome to Circuit Academy. In this video, we'll dive deep into the world of functions, discuss local and global variables, and learn the difference between passing parameter variables by value and by reference. So, let's get started. A function consists of two main parts, function definition and function call. To define a function, we start with the return type, which specifies the type of data the function will return, such as an integer, a float, a character, etc. If the function doesn't return any value, we use the void keyword as the return type. After the return type, we have the function name, which could be anything you like to name the function. Following the function name, we use a pair of round brackets. Inside these brackets, we write the parameters, which are the input values the function can accept. Parameters are optional. A function can have no parameters, one parameter, or multiple parameters. After the parameters, we use a pair of curly brackets to define the body of the function. The body contains the block of code that will be executed when the function is called. If the function needs to return a value to the code that called it, we use the return keyword followed by the value or variable to be returned. Now that we know how to define a function, let's look at how to call it. To call a function, we simply write its name followed by a pair of round brackets. If the function requires input values for the parameters, these are provided inside the brackets. Passing input values to a function is known as passing arguments. When we pass arguments to a function, we provide the data it needs to perform its task. Finally, if the function returns a value, we store it in a variable of the same data type as the return type. For example, the analog read function returns an integer value representing the analog voltage on a specified pin, so we always use an integer variable to store its returned value. Now that we understand how functions work, let's see them in action. We'll write a small program to calculate the square of an integer. In the setup function, we initiate serial communication with a baud rate of 9600. In the loop function, we first prompt the user to input an integer to be squared. Next, we wait for the user to enter a number. For this, we use a while loop that runs until there is no data in the serial receive buffer. Once the user enters a number, it gets stored in the buffer and the loop condition fails. We then use the serial.parseInt method to extract the integer value from the buffer and store it in an integer variable named number. At this point, we have the user's input stored and ready for processing. To calculate the square, we will create a custom function named calculate. We will pass the number variable to this function, and this function will return us the squared value. So first, we will call the calculate function. For this, we write the function name, calculate, followed by a pair of round brackets. And inside these brackets, we pass the number variable, which holds the integer we want to square. Since the function will return the squared value as an integer, we store the returned result in another integer variable named result. Finally, we print the result variable to the serial monitor. Now let's define the calculate function. It's good practice to define a function before calling it, ideally before the setup function. However, if you define a function after calling it, such as after the loop function, the Arduino IDE automatically generates and places a function prototype in the final compiled version of the program. This prototype informs the compiler about the function's name, return type, and parameters, preventing any errors. You don't need to worry about creating the prototype manually, as the IDE handles it for you. So we can define our function anywhere we want. So let's define it before the void setup section. The function starts with its return type, int, followed by the function name, calculate. Since this function will take a single parameter, the integer number, we use a variable named a to hold the value of the number variable when it is passed to the function during the function call. Inside the body of the function, we calculate the square by multiplying a by itself and return the product. Now let's briefly summarize how this code works. At the start, we have the function definition, where we calculate and return the square of the number variable. Then we have the void setup function, where we initiate the serial communication. Moving on, we have the void loop section, where we first prompt the user to enter a number to be squared. We then wait for the user's input. Once a number is entered, it is stored in the number variable, and the calculate function is called with the number variable passed as an argument. At this point, program execution jumps to the calculate function, where the passed value is stored in a parameter variable named a. The function then squares a and returns the result. Now, the program execution returns to the same point from where the calculate function was originally called, and the returned value is stored in the result variable, and its value is printed on the serial monitor. After uploading this code to the Arduino and opening the serial monitor, the program will prompt us to enter a number. For example, if we enter 10, the serial monitor will display the result 100. This example also highlights the difference between local and global variables. Local variables are declared within a specific block of code, such as within a pair of curly brackets, and their scope is limited to that block. For instance, number and result are local variables within the loop function, and a is a local variable within the calculate function. These variables cannot be accessed outside their respective blocks. For example, trying to use the result variable inside the calculate function will result in a scope error because the result variable is not declared within that function. In contrast, global variables are declared outside any block of code and are accessible throughout the entire program. They can be used in the setup, loop, or any custom function or conditional statement. However, global variables should be used with caution. For example, let's modify the program to use a global variable. First, let's make the number variable global by declaring it at the top of our program. Then we eliminate variable a declaration from the function definition. Inside the calculate function, we'll directly use the global variable number for calculations instead of the local variable a. Since the function now directly modifies the number variable, therefore it no longer needs to return a value. So we eliminate the return statement and change the return type of the function to void. Next, we move towards the void loop section, where we remove the number variable declaration as we had declared it at the top of the sketch. Then we remove the result variable because now the function doesn't return anything. We also remove the number variable from the function call. And finally, we'll print the number variable directly. After uploading this modified program to the Arduino, we'll open the serial monitor. The program prompts us to enter a number to be squared. For example, if we enter the number 5, the output is displayed, but there's an error. Can you spot it? The output incorrectly states that 25 squared is equal to 25. This error occurs because the global number variable was modified directly within the calculate function, causing unintended changes. This demonstrates why global variables should be used sparingly to prevent errors and maintain clarity in the code. Now let's add a new functionality to our code. Calculating the square root of a number and displaying both the square and square root values on the serial monitor. However, there's a slight problem. We cannot return multiple values using the return keyword, and we don't want to use global variables. Let's see how we can tackle this situation. First, we'll remove the number variable declaration and the calculate function definition entirely, as we need to restructure the calculate function. Next, we move on to the loop function, where we will first change the initial statement to enter a number. Next, we declare the number variable. Then we remove the calculate function call. And we'll declare two variables, an integer variable square and a double variable square root. Now, let's call the calculate function. This time, the function won't return anything, so we don't need a variable to capture the return value. We'll just write the function name calculate and pass the three variables number, square, and square root inside the round brackets. We then print the values of square and square root variables to the serial monitor in the main loop function. Now, let's write the function definition. Since the function won't return anything, we begin with the void keyword, followed by the function name calculate. In the round brackets, we declare two integer variables a and b and a double variable c. These variables will hold copies of the number, square, and square root variables. Inside the function body, we calculate the square of variable a, which holds the value of number, and store the result in variable b. Next, we calculate the square root of a using the sqrt function, which takes a single parameter, the number we want the square root of, and returns the result as a double. We store this result in variable c. At this point, the square and square root values are stored in variables b and c. However, these values need to be reflected in the main square and square root variables, since these two variables are passed by values to the calculate function. That is, the function parameters b and c only receive a copy of these original variables, and any changes made to them won't affect the original variables. We can also pass the variables square and square root as reference. When you pass variables by reference, the function parameters b and c share the same memory address of the original variables square and square root, not just a copy of their value. A reference variable is an alias for another variable. It does not have its own memory. It is simply another name for the original variable. This means any changes made to these reference variables will immediately reflect in the original variables. So to create a reference parameter, we simply add an ampersand in front of the parameter names in the function definition. This allows variable b to access the exact memory location where square is stored, and any changes made to b will update square. Similarly, variable c will access the memory location of square root, and changes to c will update square root variable. Once the calculations are complete, the values are automatically reflected in the main loop. Upload the modified code to your Arduino. After the upload is complete, open the serial monitor. You will be prompted to enter a number. After entering the number, let's say 5, and hitting enter, the serial monitor will display both the square and square root of the entered number. And that's all for this lesson. Stay tuned for more such videos, and we'll see you in the next one.